Welcome to the Agricultural Rural Affairs Committee meeting of Thursday, June 7th, 2018. All members are present. Declarations of interest? None. Confirmation of minutes from our meeting of May 3rd, 2018, as well as our special meeting of May 22nd. Are those minutes carried? Perfect. So this is a public meeting to consider the proposed comprehensive official plan and zoning bylaw amendments listed as items 2 to 6 on today's agenda. For the items mentioned above, only those who make oral submissions today or written submissions before the amendments are adopted may appeal the matter to the local planning appeal tribunal. In addition, the applicant may appeal the matter to the local planning appeal tribunal if council does not adopt an amendment within 150 days of receipt of the application for zoning and 210 days for official plan amendments. A comment sheet is available at the door for anyone wishing to submit written comments on these amendments. So we'll go through the agenda. We have a quarter revision, a second sitting of the quarter revision, but we will do that after this committee gets through the agenda and adjourns. So it would be two separate meetings. So on the agenda, our item number 1, status update, Agricultural Affairs Committee inquiries and motions for the period ending May 31st, 2018. That committee received this report. Received. Item number 2, zoning, floodplain mapping updates phase 2. That Agricultural Affairs Committee recommend council approve amendments to the zoning bylaw 2008-250 as shown in document 1, detailed in document 2, and that Agricultural Affairs Committee approve the consultation details section of the report. Now this is a file that it's a citywide report. I think it impacts 14 different wards. It goes to Planning Committee next week and Council on June 27th. We did have a speaker, but from what I understand, Mr. Schluage, as long as you're comfortable with the nature of it, you're okay with us carrying it? Thank you. So on the item, carried. Thank you so much. Item number 3 is zoning bylaw amendment for part of 1670 Lockheed Road in Rideau Goulburn. That Agricultural Affairs Committee recommend council approve an amendment to zoning bylaw 2008-250 for part of 1670 Lockheed Road for the purposes of rezoning a portion of the lands from agricultural subzone 3 to agricultural subzone 7 to prohibit residential uses on the retained farmland as detailed in document 2. And 2, the Agricultural Affairs Committee approve the consultation details section of this report. This is one of the surplus farm severances that comes through us after it is approved by the Committee of Adjustment. So on that, zoning amendments, carried. Item number 4 is the zoning bylaw amendment for 4041 Moody Drive. This is a training facility for auto fire services at Moody and Barnsdale. We permitted a temporary zoning last year, and this is an extension of that temporary zoning. So Agricultural Affairs Committee recommend council approve an amendment to zoning bylaw 2008-250 for 4041 Moody Drive to permit a training facility for Ottawa Fire Services for a temporary term of 1 year, as shown in document 1 and detailed in document 2. And 2, the Agricultural Affairs Committee approve the consultation details section of this report. On that item? Yeah, question, yes.
So my question is, they're not going to be moving out of there by next year either. So why do we have it only for 1 year? Why don't we have it in a way where it could be?
Sure, we can briefly ask the question. Adam Brown wants to come up and answer that as to why it's only a 1 year extension of the temporary zoning.
Mr. Chair, they had originally a 2-year temporary term that was approved. This is a 1-year extension to that term, bringing them to the 3-year maximum allowable for a temporary zoning bylaw amendment.
So if they wanted to go beyond the 3 years, they'd have to do the full rezoning of the property through the proper process.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Perfect. Thank you. So on that item, carried. Thank you. Item number 5 is another surplus farm severance on First Line Road. The Agricultural Rural Affairs Committee recommend council approve an amendment to zoning bylaw 2008-250 for part of 6420 First Line Road for the purposes of rezoning the lands from AG2 to AG6 to prohibit residential uses on the retained farmland as detailed in document 2, and that 2, Agricultural Affairs Committee approve the consultation details section of this report. On that, carried. And item 6 is more of a cleanup. There was an error made in something that we did was it last month or the month before? Just a mapping, it was a mapping error. So this is a zoning bylaw amendment for part of 6143 Perth Street. The Agricultural Rural Affairs Committee recommend council approve the proposed amendment to zoning bylaw for part of 6143 Perth Street to switch the exception zones, Village Residential Subzone E, Rural Exception 859, with a holding provision, and Village Residential Subzone E, Rural Exception 858, as detailed in Document 1 and as shown in Document 2, and that 2, Agricultural Rural Affairs Committee approve the consultation details section of the report. On that item. Carried. And I know that we have an additional item. Councillor DeRuse would like to, a couple months ago, we had an inquiry on snow fencing. And Councillor DeRuse would like to bring forward a motion, and he wants to put it on this agenda. So Councillor DeRuse to request a waiver of the rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I would that the Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee approve the addition of this item for consideration by the committee at the 7th June 2018 meeting pursuant to Section 89-3 of the procedure bylaw.
So on waiver of the rules to permit the item. Carried. Thank you. And then introduce your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, that whereas blowing and drifting snow on roadways are major transportation safety and mobility concerns, causing accidents and requiring expensive winter roadways maintenance, whereas these issues can be especially problematic near farmlands where snow can drift into roadways from harvested fields, and whereas the snow fences reduce the buildup of drifting snow and ice on roads and improve visibility for motorists, and whereas the City of Ottawa encourages landowners in identified problem areas who plant corn to participate in the alternative snow fencing program as an environmentally and physically responsible alternative to traditional plastic or wood slat snow fences, and whereas the City of Ottawa reimburses farmer to leave several rows of corn to act as a natural snow fence along roadways based on the market value per ton of the unharvested corn, the yield of tons per acre, the actual acres standing, and for spring cleanup work, and whereas the rate paid to the farmer for corn fences is currently 150%, which is 1.5 times the market value. Let it therefore be resolved that staff be directed to bring forward options for the City of Ottawa to increase landowner participation in alternative snow fencing program prior to the establishment of the 2019 draft budget, including the potential to increase the rate of reimbursement for leaving up rows of corn from 150%, which is 1.5 times the market value, to 250%, which is 2.5 times the market value, adding $97,000 to the 2019 road service operating budget for the alternative snow fencing program to account for increased participation, and a review of the effect of any rate increases approved by the council 2 years after implementation to determine the impacts of an increased rate on program uptake. Mr. Chair, this is a very straightforward motion. We used to basically give the farmer 2.5 tonnage that was for their corn before, so they can leave them on their farmland, specifically on road where a major artery for the city, so will prevent from snow drifting and safety for our commuter and resident in rural area.
I know that Chad Finley is here representing the Roads Department, in case there's any questions. I do just, the timing here of this, I'm not sure really who this will go to, but because it's an election year, we won't be approving the 2019 budget until February or March of 2019, which means, in all likelihood, this won't actually be in effect until 2020. I think that's a fair assessment. The mic wasn't on, but she said I was correct. So, okay, fair enough. I know. Actually, just a question for Chad, if you don't mind. So I had been speaking with Kevin Wiley about some snow fence stuff too. Is there any plan at all to review what we do for snow fencing? Just looking at, because I know that green snow fencing is an option. It's funny, MTOs here, they're one of the best examples of using living snow fencing, something that's good year-round or every single year, whereas one of our challenges we have is that with corn row snow fencing, it's only good once every second year because they swap out the crops. And then we have to go in there with the actual fencing, which sometimes we run out of. Is there any plan to review how we do snow fencing in the city of Ottawa?
Mr. Chair, we're always reviewing alternate methods for snow fencing. Obviously, that's where the corn fencing idea came from. One thing when comparing our operations to the MTO is we're quite restricted on the width of right-of-way compared to the MTO. So there's not as many options available when it comes to green or year-round type snow fencing.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I know it's just a conversation I would like to keep having with Public Works to see if there are alternative options, because I think this can be quite cumbersome from year to year. And also, it's not always the cost for the farmer, right? It's the contamination of the property from year over year. Having corn grow up in soybeans is not the most productive situation. So, but thank you for being here, and thank you, Councillor Roos, for bringing the motion forward. So on the motion?
Carried.
Carried? All right, thank you. So that's it for the regular agenda. In-camera items, there are none. Open mic session, nobody signed up for that. I guess we're not close enough to the election yet. Notices of motion, none. Inquiries, none. Other business, none. Adjournment? Carried. Our next meeting of Agricultural Affairs Committee will be Thursday, July 5th, 2018. So we're just going to break for about 5 minutes, and then we'll convene the quarter revision with Councillors DeRuse and El Chantieri, because that's who was in it the whole time.